Kidnapping. Forced employment. Rescuing. Technically, if I sign a contract with Wanda, like the one I plan to do with Kitty, the influence of the dimensional Lord Chthon could be countered by the influence of the new source, aka void energy, my source. But Wanda will have to be at least conscious enough to be able to form a contract with me. If she is not, then I will have to fight Chthon and make a deal with him or kill Wanda in the worst case. My energy has no psychological effects. That I know of. But even if it does, I rather Wanda behaves like me than like Chthon. Yao, is Wanda still awake, aware of her surroundings? How conscious do you need her to be? Enough to sign a contract with me. I still need to study some sorcery though, I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself. What sort of contract? Like a magic vow? No. I plan to sign something similar to the contracts you guys use to pull dimensional energy. But instead of pulling energy from a dimension, the contract will pull energy from me. Yao's eyes thinned a little while thinking of the implications of my question. Yes, that is probably possible for Wanda. But wouldn't you be making her your avatar? Yao asked, clearly concerned about having a unstable Wanda as the avatar of a cosmic entity. No, you can only make avatars if you are a powerful dimensional lord champion's cosmic entity, have some claim to an aspect of reality, elder god and some exceptions, really particular exceptions. Otherwise you're not making avatars, but something else. I don't fit in any of those categories. My objective is for my energy to fight off the influence that Chthon has in Wanda through the chaos energy. Though I will need your help creating this type of contract. I said almost pleadingly at the end. That's surprisingly a marvelous idea, it should work, and as long as Wanda accepts she will have enough time for her to master her newly acquired powers. Yes, we will have to work on creating the contract, our dimensional contract won't suffice, but that won't so difficult. Yao was positively surprised by my idea. Great. That's almost one problem less from my ever-growing list of problems. I will go now Yao, you can visit the Halo when you please, there's not much yet but you can use the facilities in my house up there. So much to do. But if there's anything I have, it's shine. And time. I went back to my mansion to find Jean already sleeping in her new room. It looks like Kitty was true to her desires and went to Halo to sleep, Bucky and Emma are up there as well. Spark, send a message to Bucky and Emma. Tell them that tomorrow they will help me hiring my new staff. I can have them pick up the widows that are in missions, out of the Red Room, while I rescue the ones in the school. After getting a report of the current monitoring targets of Spark under the Skynet and Brother I went to sleep for the day. Same as usual, S.H.I.E.L.D. spying on the world, gasp how dare they. Hydra manipulating S.H.I.E.L.D., the hand worshipping their demon, about 999 plus world conspiracies going on, a capsicle in the Arctic, the 10 Rings playing modern warfare on a global scale. I found out that the Eternals here are the same as the ones in the old movies, but I believe that these ones are biological. I will probably have to help Tiamat emerge without breaking Earth. Shit, is that even possible? There's some Inhumans in the Himalayas but also some in the moon. Namor is already on the throne. The Savage Lands are currently isolated and I plan on keeping it like that for the moment. It is public knowledge that Reed Richards is studying both space travel and dimensional breaching, so it's still in the air how they are going to power up. I rather not deal with Annihilus. Sadly I can't hack their network since I can't have him detect me with his world-endangering IQ and or plot armor. But I will fuck him up a little if he is doing dimensional breaching without taking the appropriate precautions. Sigh, who am I kidding? That idiot genius is definitely doing something reckless, but I rather not be a tyrant that messes with people because they could do something bad. That's the Fury way, I rather go the Batman way, assume everyone and everything will fuck up and prepare, at least Batman has friends. And Catwoman. It's a new day. Today I will hire some staff. I have a lot to do. I also need to start my zoomorphic girl plan. The first step is to study the biology of cats, foxes and rabbits. I need to improve my biokinesis. I got out of bed and went to make some breakfast. When I got to the kitchen I found Jean in her white pajamas doing some breakfast. Good morning Jean. Hi Aragorn, I made us some breakfast. Thank you Jean. How was your night? Any problems with the new reach of your powers? I bet that even without training she must be able to hear at least half of the world now. Just getting to sleep was difficult enough, but I focused on our connection. Your mind dwarfs everything on the planet. And I'm not sure if it's okay to say this but I'm grateful that you don't dream. She looks uncomfortable with the notion. Why wouldn't it be okay? I know I don't dream, but it's not because I'm unable. I read somewhere that not dreaming could be due to different problems, some of them could be psychological. Normally that's the case, among other things, but not in this case. Ha 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 ha. You silly Padawan, I don't dream because it's dangerous to dream with my powers. I don't really need to sleep, but if I'm going to, I have to be careful about it. I prefer not waking up to a shattered earth. Peef. She now looks embarrassed and scared. Shut it, Aragorn. This is what I get for worrying about you, stupid dragon. Ha 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 ha. Well, that nickname reminded me of Nuna. I will visit her after I have my staff settled. I should also introduce Jean to Nuna. Technically they are related, with Jean being the Phoenix's avatar and all. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Okay. I will shut up. I appreciate the concern. For what it's worth, you can use our connection for sleeping until you get a hold of your powers. I wouldn't want to find myself in the dream of some seedy old man. Humph, thank you. She is clearly pouting, maybe she is an anime character or reads shoujo. Fire Padawan, what are your plans for the day? I can train you now or in the afternoon, whatever works best for you. Not that I'm trying to distract you or anything. I will allow your poor attempt at changing the topic of conversation. I have some classes to take later in the morning, so I prefer training in the afternoon. Mission smoothly accomplished, no matter what the Padawan says. Yeah, no problem. I need to hire some staff anyways. You can coordinate with Spark and just let me know when you're ready. I will probably train the staff on Halo to avoid their thoughts seeping to you, but there's still a chance that you will find new people here, so a heads up just in case. I would rather not face court because of a work-related accident on the first day. Well, my girls probably won't be able to go to court for the first few years, but that's not a nice thought. That's okay, thanks for the heads up, Aragorn. No problem. Lastly, if you need anything, just ask Spark. No need for reservations, I probably have more money than this planet, and if it can't be bought, you can have the fabricators make it for you on Halo. Once you reach a certain level of wealth, you measure it by resources, not money. Hey, Aragorn, are you trying to become my sugar daddy? Jean laughed mockingly while posing seductively. Please, little Padawan. You need to, at least, be close to Nuna's level if you want me as your sugar daddy. Please. As if you could compare to Nuna's temptation that I could only resist, barely, due to the total control of my body that I exerted. Gasped bastard. I'm growing. As if I would want you as my sugar daddy. And if you can't even appreciate my beauty, then maybe it's you who has some problems, maybe performing. Who's this, Nuna, anyway? Your imaginary dragoness. Ha. Probably the name of your hand. Oh, it's personal now. The kitty gloves are off. What would you even know about performing? You are a little wet behind the ears to even think about evaluating any sort of performing. And if you are growing, then I, after my eons of age, am still growing as well. To be fair, she is 15 years old, so there's a lot of growing to do. I can also bet all my scales that she will be a bombshell, but this and that are different things. This is the trashing of a rebel Padawan. Ha 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 ha. She is all red now. Dash dot. It reminded me of my bike, and now I'm not so sure if pissing her off inside my mansion is a good idea. You. I bet you can't even get a date with your hand. Cough asterisk cough, sorry, you're Nuna. Ha 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 ha. This crazy Padawan is asking for it. You don't mess with Nuna. As if. My Nuna is very real. I will get a date with her in the future for sure. But what about you? You, little Padawan, won't be able to get any dates even if the guy wears a loupe for eyeglasses. Ha 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 ha. You won't beat me in the art of trash talking, for me is easy. I just have to channel my inner young master. That's it. Dash dot. Shit, she is going to blast my house. I've got to portal us away. As soon as her eyes started to shine ominously, without wasting any time, I warped us to Halo, to the valley in front of my house. CRAAAAACK asterisk, the ground started cracking as Jean pulled rocks out of it and hurtled them at me at subsonic speeds. Boom asterisk crash, ha 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 ha, you are still too little to beat me, Jean, I shouted while I deflected the bus-size rocks. For my offensive, I switched my TK into attack position. I pulled some water from the atmosphere to super soaker the hot-headed Padawan. Whoosh asterisk SPLAAASH. HAHAHAHAHA, like I said, still wet behind the ears. I laughed at the wet Padawan. Now she looks like a wet dog. Ha 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 ha. This is so much fun. I'm going to break those horns of yours, Aragorn. Her eyes shone even brighter. She started to float under the influence of her TK. She looked at me from above before pulling her hands back at the level of her chest. She said, Aragorn, drown. She pushed her hands forward. Rumble asterisk rumble. The ground, following her command, raised itself and rippled forward, simulating a tsunami. A tsunami made of dirt, rocks and water. Ha 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 ha. Little Jean, you won't be able to hit me with that. I shouted while I flew above the massive dirt wave. I lifted my left hand and pulverized about a handful of the dirt passing below and sent the little dust cloud to the still wet and enraged teenager. Sploosh asterisk, she was covered with dirt in an instant. You shit dragon. Jean lifted her hands and created a forest of rock spears below us. The spears started to separate from the ground and she then closed her hands in a fist, compressing the spears solid. Breaking the sound barrier, one after the other, she shot the spears at me. Boom asterisk 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 boom. Ha, not enough. You're still lacking. I mockingly said while I supersonically flew around each spear. My choice of words just pissed her off even further. Not long after that she started to pick up the pace and it was like a minigun, just that instead of bullets she's got spears and instead of firing explosions she's got sonic booms. Explosions and rumbling could be heard after each time that she launched a rock spear. But I was not going to take it like this. While evading her spears I started to pull water from any source on the valley in the air, but I pulled it stealthily, until I had a lake worth of water silently creeping above us. Finally I dispersed some of its heat back to the atmosphere, lowering the temperature of the water just enough for it not to freeze. Stay still, Aragorn. Shouted Jean, trying to strike me down while airborne. Why don't you cool off, little fire? I dropped the water above us and glomped us in the lake of freezing water. Splash asterisk glump. Ha 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 ha. Little Padawan. What will you do now? Bastard, I'm freezing. PFFFFF, so. How are you going to escape? Jean got angrier. She focused for a couple of seconds before using an omnidirectional telekinetic blast. That's a low-level Shinra Tensei almighty push. Boom asterisk, she pushed enough water away to create a force field around her. She was lacking air in the bubble, but for her new body this was no problem. Humph, now you can't do anything to me. Yeah, you should have that force field on since the start. Now I can't bully you without harming you. But you're still too inexperienced. Yeah, I can physically bully you, but I can use some psychological tactics. Hey. You know, little Jean. All this freezing water and your white pajamas are only showing your scarcity, you know, right? I said with a cocky grin while staring at her chest. Her white blouse left nothing to imagination. There was a sense of foreboding in the water. She looked down, but there was no blushing. She looked back at me and her green eyes shifted to red. She pointed her palm at me and manifested a fist-size white flame. Almost cosmic fire, but not there yet. Shit. She is going to vapor explosion us up. I can't live with this shame. Neither can you. She said softly before sending her scalding flame out of her bubble, into the water. I lifted my hand and encased her in a void barrier. And then. Ringing asterisk, after the explosion there was this high-frequency ringing on my head for a second or two. I was only wearing my shorts. That were initially pants. In a crater so big that it will soon be the new lake view from my house up in the cliff. About my house, I could see that the shields were up, meaning that the explosion reached all the way up there. Bucky, Emma and Spark were on the balcony. I could feel their exasperation from here. I called back the void barrier. It was sent to the mountains on the other end of the valley, and floated us to my house. I stepped in front of the gang. They looked at the void barrier. It was currently in its raw form, so it was distorting space, making it hard to discern what was inside, and Emma asked. So, what sort of demon, god, entity, mutant, world-ending threat do you have there? I'm guessing that they couldn't recognize Jean from this distance, but Spark should know. Spark is just keeping silent because he is always on my side. Nice one, Spark. I can always count on you. I removed my barrier, letting Emma see the wet and fuming Jean inside. I hate you, Aragorn. It was all Jean said. You crazy bastard. Is what Emma shouted before running inside with the wet dog. Is what Bucky said, before following inside. Master Chief, as much as this pains me to inform you, I must do this for your betterment. I have recorded this incident and will inform Madame Death upon her descent to this plane. Gasp. The betrayal. So. Jean. I might have taken it a bit further. So. I'm sorry. Why do I have to apologize while everybody is looking at me like that? This is not what I imagined I would do with my busy morning. And. Emma. And any man would be grateful to be of your interest. I will claim vengeance in the future, little Padawan. I accept your apology, Aragorn. It would be better if you said it without emulating a young lady. I bet she reads shoujo. Do I not get an apology? I mean. She was mocking Nuna by comparing her to my hand. You better apologize now, Padawan, or else later the revenge will be greater. For what? She looks confused. Why? For saying that Nuna doesn't exist. What else? Do you think that I care enough to start a fight about being made fun of? Your imaginary girlfriend. This is weird. Why would she believe that she is fake? MMMHHH, this is weird. Why would you believe that she is fake? You have a girlfriend. Emma. No. Just someone I like. Why would I fake a person? Emma. I'm also confused why you two believe that he would create a fake person. Thank you, Bucky, at least you have my back. Emma and Jean looked back at each other and tilted their heads in confusion. I don't want to be rude, but you don't feel like someone who has a romantic relationship. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but your mind doesn't feel like the mind of a person that is in love. Jean. I think I'm more confused now. How does the mind of a person in love feels like? Whatever it feels like, a normal person's mind is not the best point of reference for mine. I don't share a link with you like Jean, but you clearly live alone. Your behavior is also the one of someone that is used to being alone. I also thought that the maids you were hiring were for the purpose of future concubines. What the hell? I looked at my only island in this sea of confusion, Bucky. Don't look at me, I'm as confused as you are. For all I know, there's a Miss Dragoness out there waiting for you in a cosmic nest. That's good, just a little weird, but it doesn't help me with anything. Ms. Gray, Ms. Frost. The Nuna, as the Master Chief calls her, is indeed a being in existence. While technically not alive, Madame Death is very real. She is also the aim of the Master Chief's affections. Yes, Spark, you tell them. I looked at the girls with satisfaction after Spark helped me out, but now the three of them are giving me weird looks. What now? Madame Death. X3. Yes. Nuna Death. The light in my darkness, the hottest and sweetest girl in existence or in existence. Who? Or. What is that? Emma. Right, these guys don't know about the abstracts. You guys don't know about the abstracts. That's why you look at me like crazy. Abstracts. Bucky. Yes. First of all, Jean, my mind, specially, and the mind of most telepaths work different than normal minds. Probably even yours won't feel the same as you expect in the future when you fall in love. Second, Emma, I've been alone for longer than this universe has been existing, so I am used to being alone, since I was alone for most of my life except for the first decades of my existence. And lastly, cosmic abstracts are conceptual cosmic beings. At the top is the living tribunal, who serves the one above all. Below them are the four pillars of reality: eternity, infinity, death, and oblivion. After the pillars we have Master Order, Lord Chaos, the In-Betweener, Mistress Love, Sire Hate, the Phoenix Force and others, a lot more. The ranking has to do with importance and not power. Scaling these entities by power is stupid since the way they fight is different. Nuna is Death, or Lady Death as most know her. I take orders from the Living Tribunal, but Nuna is my point of contact and basically direct superior. I feel like I just lifted a huge burden from my shoulders. Now I feel bad for bullying the Padawan. My revenge will be light. Do not worry, Padawan, I understand that you were just confused. I'm an understanding dragon. I'm sorry about before, Aragorn. Jean. Don't worry, Jean, I understand now why you were confused. Your punishment has been lightened. But what's with these seemingly existent new all-powerful beings? Jean. Don't worry too much, Padawan. Once you start using the learning room, one of the first lessons is about cosmic entities. There's also an extra about gods and demons, but that one is optional for you, since once you're done with your training, gods and demons will have to learn about you, not the other way around. While in training I will always be there, but afterwards the demons will teach their spawns about the little Padawan. Okay, if you say so, thank you, Aragorn. She said, cheering up after hearing about the learning room. Aragorn, if it's all right to ask, why were you alone for so long? Emma. It's no problem. I was a normal human once. There was a war against power-hungry alien invaders. I, along with most of the rest of humanity, took the fight to their home planets. We started to develop powers after contact with their galaxies. I had the power of absorbing the souls of my kills. After the war was over, one of the powered humans, with the power of stealing powers, went psycho and wanted to use my power to make himself a god. Something went wrong with my power when he tried to steal it and I absorbed my universe. I was left adrift in the void in the omniverse until I found this place. The one above all, the creator of this multiverse, gave me this universe as my home in exchange for working some tasks under the living tribunal. So the time I spent in the void is the reason I'm used to being alone. Normally no being with a soul should be able to survive in the void, so it was only me and the creatures of the void. I suspect that I might be one of the oldest existences around here. At least age influenced me differently than those old fogies. I wouldn't want to be a nihilist holier than thou dragon. Emma. Jean. I'm just gonna say it. Everyone is thinking about it, but how are you not? More crazy. Bucky. Oh, that's because of my previous power. It was the power to absorb souls to empower my soul. So by the time I was done eating my universe, my way of thinking, feeling, moving, seeing, talking, being and existing was already different. Normally if someone is as old as me they get affected by time one way or the other, but my soul fixed some of my previous problems and preserved me as me. The same about being alone for so long. My soul, me, determined that some feelings, senses, memories, experiences, etc. were not needed, so they were dormant, awaiting for the moment in which they were. Once I located this multiverse, my soul restarted my dormant attributes. After all, I was more affected by the loss of my family than by my time alone. I'm sorry about it, Aragorn. Are you not sad? About your previous home, I mean, and your time alone. Emma. Yes, but I work on a different programming now. It's more like I'm trauma-proofed, because my soul equates trauma to damage, and my soul doesn't do damage. It's not that I can't feel, it's more like I can only feel in a allowed amount, or for an allowed amount of time, of allowed emotions. So I do feel sadness but not crippling sadness. I feel lust but not mind-losing lust. I feel hate but not disabling hate. I feel rage but not maddening rage. I feel lots of curiosity but not life-threatening curiosity. I enjoy bullying Jean but not enough to damage Jean. Ha ha hey 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 hey. Hey. Wait. Is that good or bad? Jean. Ha 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 ha. I'm mostly kidding, Jean. What I meant is that I enjoy but not enough to lose myself in joy. Love is a bit different since my soul recognizes love as a positive thing. I love enough to not lose myself in it but enough to allow change in me. This applies to any type of love. After all, you can't grow if you don't let some influences in from the outside. It's probably one of the reasons my soul survived the void. Instead of fighting it, it allows some of it inside. After that, it learned about letting go when the time is right. It let go of its absorption power in order to gain a future. I let go of my previous attachments in order to have a healthy future. Thank you for telling us about it, Aragorn. Emma. Grunted Bucky. I don't like the bullying but thank you. Jean. After all, he didn't hurt me during our fight. He is a bully. Hi guys. That is the best bed in the world. I've never felt that good sleeping before in my life. Shouted Kitty, who has just woken up. X4. Kitty, you are a treasure. Never change. You can get a P-link from Spark later. Jean, you should go to classes soon, same as you, Kitty. Emma, James, follow me to the Overwatch room. I will show you what we will do in regards to my future staff. After that, Emma, Bucky and I went to my Overwatch room, basically my control room for matters not pertaining to Halo. Spark had already compiled a list of all the active widows and the location of the Red Room. Alright. What do you know about the Red Room? I remember given several tasks of training assets from time to time. Aside from that, nothing. Bucky. I know a little about them from my time with Shaw. But not much. Emma. Shaw is usually well informed when concerning to matters of the world. What about the Black Widow? Did you ever hear of her? The assassin. Emma. Yes. Natalia Alyanovna Romanova known as the Black Widow. She was created there, in the Red Room. The Red Room was a program established by the Soviets with the help of several key figures to create super-enhanced spies. It started with Lyudmila Antonovna Kudrin, a genius lady that created a variant of the super soldier serum. This variant worked best on women and so the program was born. Basically, they kidnap or buy girls that could disappear from any records without leaving a trace. They train them, indoctrinate them, chemically brainwash them, make them fight to the death until only the strongest one of the batch is left, and finally they sterilize the winner before using the serum. After that it's rinse and repeat. Since they are assigned the most risky missions, normally a widow doesn't live long, hence the need for the cycle. We have good news and bad news. The good news is that Kudrin trusted nobody, so she kept the formula to herself even after her death. The bad news is that she left enough supply for about an army of widows. I will handle the Red Room itself. I'll just go and take the girls and destroy the whole complex, getting rid of the serum at the same time. You two are going to portal around with Spark's help to secure the girls that are doing training missions. Expect resistance. Any questions? What the fuck is wrong with people? I guess you will get rid of the chemical brainwashing and you and I will help with the mental recovery. Emma. Are they coming here or to the mansion? Bucky. They are coming here. I prefer to keep their thoughts away from Jean until they learn how to shield their minds. Jean is unstable enough as she is without adding the thoughts of trained assassins to the mix. Master Chief, if I may, can we use an orbital bombardment on the Red Room as a testing of our orbital weaponry? My belligerent AI. What about collateral damage? The closest city is Oymyakon, Siberia, not even the shockwave would be felt. My warlike AI. What about the presence of our satellites being discovered? That will happen soon enough. I've detected a few lost signals requesting entry to the satellite communicating network. It won't be long for our network to be known. They will know that there are satellites out there but won't know where. So no risk will come to the satellites themselves for at least a decade. After that the satellites will have to be protected by the barriers built in. My gung-ho AI. So you are saying that it won't matter since soon the satellites network will be no, ergo the satellites will be no, but they won't be able to locate them. Since they will fear the tech that they can't locate, it doesn't matter if they have circumstantial evidence of these beings' weapons, given that they will fear the unknown tech assuming that it's weaponry. Yes, since either way they will assume that my satellites are weapons, it doesn't matter. Correct. Sure. I will pull the girls and you will bomb it. Let me know if there's anything left standing. I want the place vaporized. If there's anything left I will put on a path to the sun or something. Do we have orbital strikes? Emma. Bucky and I stared at her as if she was an idiot. What? Emma felt offended by our demeanors. Well. We have lightsabers, a space station, robots, AI, portals, a dragon, an avatar of a cosmic entity, a planet, and who knows what other crazy things are on this halo. At this point orbital strikes sound more like something your neighbor could have secure under the pillow. Bucky, an adaptable Bucky. If you put it like that. Emma, learning to adapt. Alright, let's get ready. Put them to sleep because I don't want them to end themselves. Spark, send the girls to the med bay and have the 7 deadly sins in charge of security. The operation was simple enough. We are almost done. I'm just waiting for the orbital strike to hit. I portaled about a mile, 1.609 kilometers, in the sky and sent a telepathic pulse that put everyone to sleep. In a minute I had already scanned all the trash and the sleeping beauties on the facility. I did find some innocents, if you can call them that. All of them knew what they were working on, but these innocents were not directly involved in the horrors the girls suffered. I honestly don't care. You're responsible for your actions, and while it's true that people could change for the better if they are given a chance for redemption, you can tell that to the dead. Thunder asterisk. Boom, I manipulated the energy present and made an EMP strong enough to get to the lower levels of the facility. I opened several portals close to the girls and started sending them to the med bay. I will have to take responsibility for some of the baby girls. There were 8 4 years old, the newest batch, 4 10 years old, 17 15 to 17 years old that already went through sterilization, 1 19 years old, also the oldest, Yelena Belova. She was not the sister of the Black Widow, but she was being trained to hunt her. All in all 30 individuals, but some of the old ones will probably go out on their own, so I'm not sure how many I will be left with. The baby girls and the kid girls will have to stay since there's no records about where to return them, and you can't be an independent baby or kid without asking for Hydra to kidnap you. I'm not sure how many Bucky and Emma will bring, but hopefully I will have enough staff and not just members of the new orphanage of the Brilliance, my mansion. My waiting was rewarded. Up in the sky, you can find a falling star, big enough to pulverize, fast enough vaporize. I wish upon the brightest star, for the trash to disappear. Boom asterisk RRRRRRUUUUMBLE. A quick scan with my op eyes and I found no traces left, just a hole with a sprinkle of crater on the top. It left a cloud of dust, snow and metal on its wake. Satisfied with Spark's job, I went back to base. It's time to check on the girls. I found that Bucky and Emma were already waiting for me over there. Hey guys. No problems. No, I just stunned them with some psionic blast and Spark warped them here. I got 11 girls. Similar here, I just stunned them with this arm. It was like cheating, and I have 8 girls. He looks like he is really enjoying his new arm. I'm glad. What ages? I got a bunch of baby girls and kid girls along with some teenagers. Well, most girls were between 14 to 17. Mine were the same, except for one 19 years old. They at least got no babies, not that it would make sense for a baby to be on a mission, but I think in the movies Yelena was a baby when she was on a mission in USA, so you never know. What will you do about the younger ones? Emma. I will keep them and you too, and I will have to raise them. So I guess. Congratulations. We are going to be parents. How nice. And no need for the gender reveal, all are girls. Sigh, X2. I will probably have to hold back the ones that want to be independent until I have papers for them. How many do you think that will want to go through the independence route? I don't think that any will. Based on what I've seen on their minds, were it not for the instilled patriotism, most of them, if not all, would have killed themselves. If, after they are cleaned, you give them an opportunity to live, they will take it. So I think all of them will follow you. Sigh us. Like ducklings in the future. You will not let me go, will you? Emma. Ha ha hey. What are you taking about Emma? Of course I will let you go. It's just that it's not my problem if you get too attached to the girls and then decide to stay. Ha ha hey. It's not like I was aiming for this, but it crossed my mind once or twice. Tisk. Emma. So now. Do we just wait? Bucky. Yes, same as you, 2 hours on the region bath. The ones that were sterilized will get a concentrated version and they should be able to bear children by the time they come out. Well, no girl of mine is having a child until they are stably independent, so no babies in the near future for them. Oh. Emma, we should start some of the psyche healing now. Emma and I started to heal the mind of the girls one by one. Some took more work since every person copes with extreme circumstances differently. About 20 minutes before the end of the baths we were done. And I was not happy. No. I felt rage. Rage about what was done to the older girls and rage about what was done to some of the kid girls. Rage with the scum of this world, so much rage. So much fucking scum. Barf, sounded Emma as she retched in the garbage bin. What happened? Asked Bucky, concerned when he saw Emma's reaction and my red eyes. Spark, I need you to locate several people for me, you have 10 minutes. Is all I said while my crimson eyes looked back to Emma. Give me the profiles you have, Emma, they will die. All of them. All who knew and helped, all who knew and did nothing, all who ordered it, all who enabled it, all who perpetuated the act, there will be none left. I will send you their profiles, make them suffer. Until they beg for death. Of course she was enraged as well. She telepathically sent me the profiles she got from the girls she helped. Spark, leave them another hour in the region bath. Region their hymen as well. Is the least I can do for them. I said while leaving through a portal. On a hunt. Pieces of shit. I heard Bucky shout when he heard my last order. One by one I gathered them. Always asking the same questions. Who are you? What are you? What are you doing here? Always making the same exclamations. Security. Kill him. Demon. Stop him. Intruder. But not a single scum took more than 10 seconds. I grabbed them by the throat, a limb, the head, and sometimes I just opened a portal behind them before kicking them in, but I made damn sure that all of them were healthy for what's to come. I made sure that none of them could off themselves. I recognized some names, some were from powerful organizations, most were from first world countries, most were from important positions. I'm not sure how the governments and organizations of some countries will work tomorrow. I bet a bunch of agencies will lose their shit finding their agents. I bet a bunch of families will go to the police declaring some of their family members missing. Yes, family members, because there were some women involved. A bunch of families will be changing their wills. A bunch of people will be involved in the repercussion of the disappearance of these scum. But I don't care. Some of the girls were used as hookers in some fucking parties under the excuse of espionage, some were used as call girls by the same functionaries of their government. I don't care about what their governments will do when they find that their prime minister is missing. After all he knew. He is not forgiven. And after the last of them was secured in one of my prison cells, I went to ask a question that's been eating me for a while now. Why? Why didn't she kill them all? I portal in the living room of an inconspicuous house in France, strategically found in a place with lots of escape routes. In front of me was a very surprised redhead that was coming out of the shower, dressed in a dark blue bathrobe. She looked at my horns and crimson eyes and she felt the presence I was broadcasting. And her trembling started. She was trying her hardest to control her trembling. She knew that if she wanted to survive me, she couldn't be confrontational. That was what her body, soul and mind said in unison. Hello Natalia. My name doesn't matter. I'm here because I have a few questions for you. Can you help me out? I said very politely. After all, no matter how angry I was, I know that she is not at fault, she was just another victim. That's what I kept repeating in my mind, like a mantra. Even though she knew about it, she was a victim as well. I saw her in one of the memories of one girl in one of these fucking parties. The girl didn't recognize Natalia, but I did. Yes, I can help you. I toned down my presence. I can't have a conversation with her like this. Did you know that the Red Room still existed? Spark did find that when she escaped, she blew up her training facility. Which at that time it was the main complex. Yes, I learned about their re-establishment approximately a decade after my escape. When she escaped, she probably was lacking experience in the underworld and the workings of governmental covert operations. Why didn't you attempt to destroy them while it was weak? The new Red Room was rebuilt about 3 decades ago. She had about 20 years to get rid of it. I couldn't. I tried. I fucking tried. When I learned of it, I infiltrated the country, but they were ready. I couldn't even get close to the facility without falling into a daze and waking up later almost frozen to death. They have a chemical trigger for my conditioning. I was able to escape once. I was not risking the chance for anything. The only reason my bounty hunters are not sent with said compound is because if it's leaked, all their active widows will be vulnerable to it. She said with her frustration out in the open. I could also tell that she was not lying. Her feelings, her surface thoughts, her smell, heart rhythm. Sigh. I apologize for the intrusion, Natalia. I know that you are also a victim of them. It's just that I saw you in the memory of one of the girls. She opened her eye on realization. You have one of their widows. Not one. I have all of them. Even the ones that were on active duty. As of today, there's no more Red Room. I felt her happiness, but it soon turned somber. Thank you. But they will just start the program again, given enough time. That's not possible, Natalia. I have everyone that was a part of it, everyone that was remotely involved, from the lowest paid janitor to the prime minister that ordered the re-establishment of the program. Everyone that knows, everyone that played a part on the girl's suffering. All of them. I smiled at her and brought my rage to my face so that she could understand that I was not talking about a future endeavor, I was talking about a fact born from the past, undeniable. What? All of them. You are going to be hunted. But I don't think it matters to you. What are you doing with them? Yes, Natalia, it matters not to me. I bet that in some of their secretly located recording devices there must be some evidence of my existence, but my public persona has no horns or crimson eyes. I also changed my hair whenever I got out. So they won't be able to link me to it. Ha ha hey hey. I will make them beg for death, of course. What else do they deserve, Natalia? When their souls find their way to Nuna's realm, there won't be any sense of self left. Can I be there? MMMMHHHMM** I can't find any problems to it. She will basically implicate herself as an accomplice. If anything, it will help me in the future when I ask her to help me with their training. I looked at her body with my eyesight to make sure that there were no devices on her. Sure. Get ready. No devices with you. I don't mind about the weapons since those are ineffective. Prevention, I bet the devices won't work on Halo, but you never know. She was ready in 5 minutes and I opened a portal back to the med bay. I found Bucky talking to Emma, trying to give her some solace. After my exit came Natalia, who immediately recognized Bucky and got ready for confrontation. Natalia. He is no longer brainwashed by Hydra. She looked at my still crimson eyes and gave a nod of understanding. I looked back at Emma and said. I have all of them in the prison. I got some more from the memories I read from them. Everyone, all, anybody involved, indirectly or directly, enablers and participants, 1783 of them. That many. said Emma with her rage-poisoned tone. Yes, most of them were people who knew, or worked taking charge of the aftercare, or gave orders. But all of them knew of the things that the girls had to suffer through. Some will get a quick death but some will beg for one. Thank you, Aragorn. I. Sigh asterisk. I will just make sure that the girls get better after this. Emma. Aragorn. What will you do with the girls? Natalia. Yes, Aragorn is my name. The small ones we will have to raise, the older ones will be either trained as maids or taught for a profession of their choosing. If they want freedom, they will need to wait a few years until I have credible identities for them, building a print, leaving some paperwork trail to make sure that the new identities are believable. Can I work with them as well? Natalia asked with some hesitation. Don't you make a living as an assassin for hire? I have no need for assassins though. Yes, but I've been thinking of finding a way to leave behind this life. And I think this is a good chance. I have other skills aside from killing, and if not, I learn fast. I'm pretty sure that I can find something to help you with. Besides, I don't know where we are, but I'm pretty sure that on the window is Earth. So I'm pretty sure that I can hide here. I don't know if you are an alien, but at least you care about the girls. And did something for them. Indeed, that's Earth. I think this widow is somewhat similar to the one on the movies, a widow on a redemption path. I don't think that there are any problems with her employment. Spark. Your thoughts? Spark floated in the room, surprising Natalia further. It's convenient. It makes no problems for us if she's hired now or in the future. She can learn in the learning room, so her lack of skills is not a problem. She is also in the same position as Mr. Barnes. Logically, she won't betray us since we are their protection, Master Chief. I thought something similar. You will be under Emma and James. She is the head maid and James is my butler. Spark, get her AP link. Natalia, do you want to use the Region bath? Spark is on the same ranking as them. Though recently he's been taking orders from the Padawan, I wonder what's with that. What's a Region bath? It's a bath in a regeneration fluid. It can fix your conditioning and infertility problem. But I don't know if it hurts to bathe while conscious. Really? Hick said Natalia while sobbing a little. Yes. If you want, you can do it after the girls are out. 2 hours should be enough. Well, the versions of her that I know of always wanted a family of her own. It wasn't long for the remaining of the extra hour of the girls to pass. My eyes finally switched from red to blue. It was time to talk to the girls. A.N. Hello, my readers. Next chapter is about introductions and executions. After that we get a POV about the mess left in Russia. But it's possible that will happen on the chapter after the next one. I will try to write about this quantity of words per chapter, but no promises. I hope you enjoy this chapter. There was no comedy, but hopefully brighter days are coming for our characters. These characters are the ones that will be considered the main cast for the next 5 years or so of story time. Of course there will be new ones from time to time, and I will try to include a bunch of POVs. But technically I will end volume in the next 3 chapters or so, maybe more. I'm terrible at matching chapters with storytelling. No need to panic since I will probably take 1 week after the end of the volume and come back with more. So there won't be much of an interruption. Hi everyone. Thank you for reading. I hope that you enjoyed my work. ExistentialVoid creators' thoughts. 18 comments, 0 vote. Maids, POVs and time. One by one the girls woke up. Like well-trained assassins, the older ones kept their calm while observing their surroundings. Their new captors, the younger ones, showed some concern, but soon enough they also imitated the behavior of the older girls. You could find them focusing on different things. Some of the older ones recognized Bucky and Natalia, some were focused on the advanced technology found in the med bay, some were observing the robots present in the room, but most of all were observing the view, Earth on the window. After some time of studying their surroundings, almost all of them set their eyes on me, more specifically my non-human features. Hello girls, my name is Aragorn. These are Emma Grace Frost, James Buchanan Barnes and Natalia A. Romanova. They work for me and will be your superiors from now on. I can't imagine a better way of saying this, so I will just lay it for you and we can do questions afterward. The Red Room is no more. Your handlers are imprisoned down below awaiting their execution. As you can see, we are orbiting Earth so no one will hurt you here. Your bodies have been fixed from any past injury. For the ones subjected to sterilization, you're capable of childbearing now. The chemical conditioning has been cleansed. The brainwashing has been removed, though you still need a few sessions with me or Emma to help with your mind healing. Any questions so far? The distrust was thick in the atmosphere, but I could only smile silently waiting for them to recognize their new reality. What will happen with us now, sir? Asked the 19-year-old that Bucky brought. The initial plan was for you girls to work for me, but there are more baby and kid girls than anticipated, so for the young ones, we will raise them. The rest of you that can be considered old enough, you can work for me or choose freedom, but you still need to stay under my care for a few years until I have untraceable identities for you. You don't need to worry much about potential danger since I don't need assassins. After all, I got rid of the Red Room on my own. I needed girls that would be loyal to us and preferably with unrecorded identities. You fitted the requirements. I will give you girls education, healthcare, housing, clothing, training and any other necessity that you will need or luxury that you want. What I need in return is your loyalty and help with work. Work that you can reject since you're not a slave. You are not captive either. I can drop you on any place on earth of your choosing, but I urge you to consider waiting until I have appropriate identities for you. In the meantime, you can study and learn from the available resources. What's the cost? Yelena. Yes, girl, I know I look like a shady candy seller. There's no cost, but it's not for free. It's like any other job. You work, you get paid. You work less, you get paid less. At the moment, you'll be studying and working as maids, but in the future, I will need some of you to handle a business that I intend to create. I plan for some of them to handle any business under my normal identity. Can we stay with you for now and decide in the future? Said one of the teenagers. Yes, you can test the waters and see if you like it. No rush. After all, we need 2 to 3 years to create credible identities with real paper trail. No more questions. I looked at the girls, some did have other questions but decided to refrain for the moment. Okay. Let's go eat. I bet that some of you haven't eaten a proper meal for a while. After saying so, we went to the kitchen with 49 ducklings following us. The kitchen and dinner table were made to accustom about 80 people at Spark's insistence a few days after going online. Spark's foresight is scary sometimes. Thanks to the fabricators, we could cater to any preference, but given that these girls were raised to eat rations for breakfast, there weren't any remarkable requests. Well, Natalia did try to test the limits of the fabricator but had to admit defeat when the fabricator popped out enough food to feed 5 or 6 people. At the end of the meal, I had to mention something that almost brought some laughs from me, Emma and Bucky. You know, girls, the armory is open, available for you. If you feel the need for weaponry, you can just get some from there. There's even the option of designing your own weapons. The cutlery won't do much against the people here. Cling clang sounded a bunch of forks, knives and spoons placed back on the table. Ha 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 ha. I laughed, I couldn't contain it anymore. But the girls were looking at me with eyes that promised pain. Ha ha ha. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just that baby over there got a knife but Natalia over here got a spoon. PFFF. Ha 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 ha. I laughed while pointing at Natalia. She looked at me and Bucky, who also couldn't keep it in anymore, with an embarrassed expression, and said, "Shut up, bastards. It's his fault. Every time I was about to grab the knife he was watching." She said, aggrieved while pointing at me. PFF. I know, I just wanted to see what you were going to do if you couldn't get the knife. Ha 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 ha. But you chose the spoon over the fork. For a moment I thought she was going to get the glass. Asshole. Shouted Natalia while skillfully throwing every eating tool on her side of the table. The girls also started to pass along their cutlery to Natalia. Ha 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 ha. Bucky and I had to laugh, while Emma was trying to keep away from us. At the end, almost all of the eating tools and some leftovers were floating over Bucky and I. While Natalia was indignant that even with the help of the girls she couldn't mess with us. Okay. Okay. We will stop. Sorry. I'm sorry, Natalia. I said while Bucky nodded alongside. You better be. She was fuming, but at least the girls were in a better mood. Now that we've had a meal, Spark will guide you to your rooms. You get your own P-links. You can use those to get information about us and the facilities available to you. I really meant what I said about the armory. If you want weapons, have fun in there. You can go to your rooms, but I still need some of you to stay here. It's time for some well-deserved justice. Even with this good mood going around, I haven't forgotten what the scum did. We went to the lower levels, the prison, after I explained to the girls what awaited in the future of our guests. I didn't need to sugarcoat it. The girls had a different sense of innocence than a regular child. For all those indirectly involved, there was a swift death, some crushed skulls, and done, simple, effective. For those directly involved, I sped up their sense of time with some well-placed telepathy and biokinesis, and then we talked for a long time. Dismantling them while alive provided us a lot of information about certain organizations. This should probably speed up the downfall of Hydra. Once done, the bodies, or more like flesh blobs, were repurposed. This is high-quality fertilizer and useful organic mass for future experiments. The scum should be grateful that at the end they did a service to the world. I at least would like to think that these girls got some sort of closure. A few of them sobbed a little when the scum perished. I will think that this was because this meant the end of their tormentors and the beginning of their new life. Different POV. Irina 19yo. It's been a week since our life under the Red Room ended. Things have been different. Good different. After the execution of our aggressors. Some of us couldn't help but cry after the memories of what we now understand was wrong. We didn't know if Aragorn, as he called himself, was going to be our new captor or not, but I can say that I was thankful for what he did to those men. During our first week on the Halo, our new home, I came to understand that there are many new things out there in the universe. For example, on the same day of our arrival, on the afternoon, 2 girls portaled to the Crystal House. One of them, Kitty, said hi as if finding new people in her house had nothing to do with her before she went to the gaming room and spent the rest of the day until dinner in there. The other girl, Jean, said that she had to train with Aragorn. Since some of us wanted to measure his level of strength, we decided to spectate the training. We were told that for our safety we should watch from one of the balconies overlooking the valley. At first we thought that they were trying to hide their techniques from us, but the way Aragorn levitated the cutlery during lunch should have been an indicator of the type of training that these people do. Both flew over the lake, discussed something for a few minutes before a world-ending fight to the death started. They kept attacking each other with rocks, water, energy blasts that later we were told were psionic blasts. Aragorn moved around at supersonic speed while Jean was not so far behind him, and then, as if what they had been doing was just some harmless game, they stopped, flew in front of the other and stayed like that for the rest of the training. Apparently they were fighting in their minds. That became a thing now, by the way. We participate in mental defense training, so at least once a day we mental battle with Ms. Frost or Aragorn. Apparently people capable of reading your mind are as common as mayors. You have at least one in town, according to Aragorn. He also was not kidding about the armory. With Spark's help, the nicest fellow here, we developed and created new weapons to decorate our rooms with. Later, after some time in the learning room, we understood that weapons wouldn't be enough to harm Aragorn, who turned out to be a dragon and not a demon like we initially expected. So I guess he really doesn't mind that most of us have enough weapons to take down an army as room decor. Things are better now, but our previously broken sense of normalcy was shattered. A few days ago Aragorn started to grab our hands for a few minutes a day. We initially thought that he was starting to show his true colors, but when one of the little ones asked what he was doing, he said that he was studying our body's biology because he wanted to give us powers in the future. After that day he adopted a bunch of foxes, cats and rabbits. He created a pet's room, more like a pet's gymnasium, and spent most of his free time in there. Again, one of the little ones asked him why he brought so many fluffies. He said that he was studying their biology to give us powers. Apparently he wants to give us the agility, reflexes, senses and instincts of said animals. He said that he was still working on it and that he wouldn't move to the next phase until he had a 100% guarantee of success. On another day he gifted us lightsabers. He was going to give some to the little ones, but Ms. Frost and Natalia stopped him. This of course saddened the little ones, who in turn made puppy eyes to Aragorn. He casted a duel by combat using lightsabers to defend the honor of the princesses. He said that since he was faster he would allow for Ms. Frost, Natalia, Bucky, Kitty and Jean to gang on him at the same time. Bucky and Kitty joined because it sounded fun, Jean because she and Aragorn always fight like brother and sister. Each side had 24 hours to get ready. Aragorn said that he was ready and was giving a handicap to the lowly dark ones, so he prepared nothing. The other team had Spark fabricate some Spartan armors, mines, grenades and plasma lances. What followed was a 17-hour-long battle which was then turned into a film by Spark so that we could watch the director's cut later. Because Ms. Frost lost most of her clothing in a well-timed explosion, Aragorn was distracted and this gave an opening that Natalia seized, placing her lightsaber against his neck. At end it was settled for the little ones to have their own vibranium weave armor as protection. Though later we were given the same protection. Hectic is the normal state here, today in particular. The reason for this is because today Aragorn has to go to a galactic empire to relocate 3 planets, due to a deal he did when he last bought a planet. This is what I meant about our sense of normalcy being shattered. One of the little ones asked him to take us with him because they wanted to become astronauts. Are we not astronauts already? Aragorn of course agreed because he is weak to the shiny souls reflected through their eyes. Apparently the baby's souls are his weak point. In Ms. Frost's body. The point is that now we are getting ready to board the UNSC Iroquois. He said that we will have to do with this one because the others are too big to use near Earth. After 3 hours of travel we arrived at Xandar, the throne world of the Nova Empire according to my knowledge from the general galactic knowledge course. It was clear to us that the ambassadors treated us with utmost respect and that they feared Aragorn and Jean. I'm still working through the mandatory lessons of the learning room, but Yelena, who is ahead of me, said that we were treated that way because Aragorn is considered a cosmic entity, which is an overpowered being, and we are considered his people. Watching how Aragorn ate a planet with his portals was an interesting experience. It looked so simple, so easy. We took longer moving from one planet to the other than moving said planets to their new systems. He said that it was not so easy because you had to calculate the speed of orbit of the planets, but that even some low-level gods could do it with enough preparations. Right, gods, I have a lot to study. After the relocations were completed, Aragorn brought us to the planet that he and Jean bought. He said that there's nothing here and that we could use it for training, but that the beaches here were nice enough. We had a picnic over there because, again, one of the little ones wanted. He mentioned that next week some representatives from Xandar would arrive to build an embassy on Halo, but that he was going to put them on the other side of the ring, for privacy. I've learned that humans are highly adaptive creatures. I no longer get surprised when I see Jean trying to kill Aragorn, or Natalia trying to kill Aragorn. The mention of gods and how weak most of them are. That's just breakfast talk. The talks about the private affairs of the people in power on Earth. Just some casual gossip between Spark and Ms. Frost. Kitty and Aragorn planning to create magical beast girls. That's just common sense, according to them. Talking about the magical beast girls, we've been receiving classes from a bald lady called the Ancient One. Apparently she is the one that taught Aragorn how to portal. We've been told that normally sorcerers have to use dimensional energy, but that she and Aragorn are working on a spell where we could use Aragorn as a power source. I don't know why he looked so proud of being a glorified battery, but we didn't mention it. Even with all of his flaws, we have come to like Aragorn. We would be ungrateful if we didn't, but he is also an idiot, our idiot at least. Natalia Romanova, age better left unsaid. Since I've left my life as an assassin, things have become different. As the idiot dragon likes to say, I've been enlightened about the bigger picture. I've learned a few facts that I definitely would like to forget, like the scale of power on the multiverse, like how behind we are of the other civilizations, like how there are about 999 plus secret conspiracies capable of destroying the world going on, like how apparently from a galactic point of view Earth is Aragorn's, like how from a cosmic point of view this universe is Aragorn's. Why would someone give a universe to this idiot? Whatever. I've also seen a few interesting things, like Aragorn talking with the Flora Colossi. He just woke up early one day in a hurry and said that he was going to hire some landscapers before looking up at a certain direction of space and opening a portal. 2 hours later and a forest of trees marched out from a portal. Spark said that these were friendly, so no one went to their rooms to pull their doomsday weapons. Why would a 15-year-old need a city buster as room decor? And why is nobody minding it? Of course this didn't stop most of us from getting ready to lightsaber some wood. At last Aragorn came through the portal. Before closing it, he was talking with a huge tree. This is what they said. I am Shine, Aragorn. I am Arbor, Arbor. I am Shine, Aragorn. I am Arbor, Arbor. I am Shine, Aragorn. I am Arbor, Arbor. That was it. Yes. I thought it was one of his usual pranks. Like the time he changed the skin color of the babies to neon colors and then they acted as if nothing was wrong and we were crazy talking when we mentioned it. Or the time he made us believe that we died in an accident involving a truck, using his light bending for some illusions and telepathy for some suggestions, and met a reincarnation god, who granted us 3 wishes about our new life. But no, Jean and Emma joined the fray and said, I am Jean, Jean. I am Shine, Aragorn. I am Arbor, Arbor. I am Emma, Emma. It turns out that the tree people communicate by mixing certain psionic frequencies in their voice with some low-level telepathy. Aragorn said that you need animal ears to be able to pick up these frequencies as sound or some level of telepathy. I don't know if I should believe him or not, since he and Kitty have been planning on turning us into beast girls. This might be an excuse to turn us into catgirls, but Jean and Emma agreed about the need for animal ears, so I don't know. The Flora Colossi apparently lost their planet to an invading force under Ronan the Accuser. Aragorn said that by the time he located them and got there, most of the planet was burning and he could only save the survivors. He planned to kill the Kree, but Arbor told him that either way their planet was not in a safe location anymore, so it's better to just relocate the survivors. That's how they came to live at the Halo. After their arrival, Aragorn lost no time. He made a few trips to Earth along with some of the maids and came back with containers of every possible seed and saplings they could buy. He then went to a place he called the Savage Lands and brought some exotic flora from there. He also brought some dinosaurs. Not the strangest thing here. It didn't take a genius to realize that some of the little maids wanted dinosaurs, and being the idiot that he is, he just brought a bunch and told Spark to handle their food situation until nature could sustain them. After he got the seeds, he made a few calls, and in an hour about 20 sorcerers came following our magic instructor. Then us along with the sorcerers and about 1,000 of the Flora Colossi started to plant the designated terrains and magically enrich the seeds and saplings. 3 days later we now have every type of forest from Earth and a few from Planet X from the seeds that the tree people brought with them. Aragorn looked at the view and said, "Now I just need to make a deal with Gia to get this place blessed." After the mandatory course, Gods, Demos and their history, mandatory for those that are not Jean, I've learned that he was talking about the elder goddess living in Earth, as one with the planet. I've come to the realization that Aragorn sees gods and mutants the same way. People with convenient powers to improve the quality of life. He said that he was going to deal with the Nova Empire embassy first and then he should be able to work on the blessing. Apparently he is waiting for a lady called Carol Danvers. He said that she is shiny, so he wants to meet her. Emma Frost, age undisclosed. My kingdom has been growing. I have now over 3,000 citizens and counting. Sure, except for the maids, all of them are trees, but my trees can beat most humans on Earth. My kingdom finally has flora and some fauna, dinosaurs mostly, and today we will finally be recognized by another galactic power with the construction of an embassy. I do call it my kingdom given that Spark and I are in charge and Aragorn and Jean, our resident nuclear deterrents, are mostly playing around or training. Did he create this place? Maybe, but the real power behind this place are the babies and I am in charge of the babies, ergo I am in charge of this place. For example, I wanted to visit my other territory, so I told the babies about becoming astronauts and about having a picnic on our other planet. That place is promising. Besides the embassy within the Nova Empire, I will build a resort on the beachy side of the continent. On the other side I will build a training center targeting the power-enhanced individuals of the galaxy. I also have some plans for some aquaculture and hydroponics, given that the sea is mostly freshwater. Aragorn said that once he gets the blessing from Gia going, I could safely introduce new animals. That should start the meat production of my kingdom, all in the path of sustainability. Creating the new governmental body of my reign is going slowly. I took the girls that didn't want to be maids under me, since Aragorn has enough maids, and gave them careers to choose from, to assume those positions upon graduation. Aragorn planned to wait a few years to offer some refuge to the Flora Colossi, but apparently things took a turn for extinction faster than he expected. That's why we weren't prepared for an influx of people so soon. The good news is that the Flora Colossi have virtually no needs, so I still have time to get my girls ready. As we await for the people of the Nova Empire, Spark confirms their permission for landing and decloaks a portion of the barrier for them. We have to make sure that no one on Earth detects them, just to be safe. As soon as they came in range of Aragorn's senses, he has been cloaking them. The ambassadors of Xandar that would take semi-permanent residence were 5. Like always, they were respectful of us and fearful of Jean and Aragorn. Except for Carol Danvers. She has the same respect for figures of power as any Earthling has. Aragorn didn't make things better. The moment she came out of the ship, he was in front of her like a fanboy and said, "Can you shine for me, please?" Had he said that to me, I would have honestly believed that he was hitting on me. What? Carol. Obviously creeped out about the behavior of the overpowered idiot. Like when you use your light dimension powers. Said Aragorn with his golden eyes shining from gold to green. That's the first time that he shows that color in response to his emotions. You mean this? Said Carol, lighting up. Aragorn's eyes switched to white, or more like his pupils fully encompassed his eyes. Of course the idiot dragon with a fixation for shiny things didn't let Carol be. He kept annoying her, so the ambassadors and I left them be. Later at the end of our negotiations, Carol came back with Aragorn following her like a duckling and said, "Ms. Frost. Please do something about him." She was indignant that Aragorn brazenly followed her all day. Have you tried making a deal with him? I mean, what do you expect me to do? Fight him off? Get between him and his shiny. Ha. I will have a long life. I'm not a fool, thank you very much. Yes. But all deals included me being his possession or placed in display. I even tried to blast him, but the creep manipulated my photonic blasts. She said while the ambassadors sweated like pigs going to the slaughter. If only they knew that Aragorn probably enjoyed the light show. Okay. I didn't want to go this far, but this is my final offer. Shouted the resident idiot before transforming into small overcute dragon. I will be your super pet companion. Your Pokemon if you will. But you have to keep channeling your powers at all times. Of course now Carol couldn't find any disadvantages, or maybe she was further creeped out because of the wording of the statement. Sigh, I didn't want to have to do this, but Spark, help me out with this idiot please. I trust that Spark has a contingency plan for situations like this. Master Chief. What will you tell Madam Death? Lo and behold, he delivers. Tisk fine. He said before flying away with his clothing comically following behind. Ms. Danvers, I don't think that he will fully give up. So it's best if you prepare something as shiny as you for the next time. Spark. If there's anything that we have discovered is that Aragorn has a way of getting what he wants. He will probably make a convoluted plan which will leave her with no other option than to move her residence here willingly. That's the real reason I never fight him, not because of his power but because I rather he dedicates that absurd mind of his to enjoyment than plotting. I just hope that Jean and Natalia learn that soon enough. Lately they've been bribing the maids to plot plans of attack. This was not what I had in mind when I decided to follow the Xandarians here. I just wanted to make sure that the new super neighbor of my home planet didn't have any nefarious thoughts about it. Now. Far from it. Now I have to find a galactic light bulb or something. I'm sorry girl, life tends to throw you curve balls from time to time. In 3 days, with the help of Jean, Carol and Spark. And Aragorn after Carol told him that if he was going to stalk her while she uses her powers that he should help. We built the embassy in one of the islands far away from our crystal home. It was a beautiful arcology like the ones in their home planet. I gave them P-links to fix the problems of supplying food. I can't have them sending ships near Earth constantly. Before going, Carol wanted to drag Aragorn down to Earth to talk with a man named Nick Fury, a friend of Carol. Aragorn didn't want to until she promised to visit at least twice a year, so Aragorn gave her a P-link and told her that her room is always available. I think he is trying to lure her here with the commodities and comfort of this place, food, recreational facilities, learning facilities and the heavenly mattresses with divine bedding. So. Like always. Aragorn kidnapped the man. Nick Fury, motherfucker. I have been unable to return to my bed for the past 2 weeks. Some crazy ass fucker decided to off 1,500 people and nobody knows anything about him. He is some sort of mutant with teleportation powers. The only evidence that we have of him are the different recordings that we stole from other countries. A horned crazy mutant. That's who we are supposed to be looking for. I will give it to him and say that some of the killed were not the most innocent. Please. I would have liked to personally kill some of them. But that's not the problem is that nobody is sleeping soundly with a murderous teleporter on the loose. And Pierce put some pressure on us to find the one responsible. But today, since there's no trail to follow, we decided to leave it on the classified files and rest. There are other dangerous individuals out there that need some securing. I arrived at my place and did the usual rounds and rituals to make sure that no one was bombing my ass, or worse, spying on me. But just as I was about to let my guard down, as if Nick Fury never lets his guard down, a portal opened in my TV room and I was pulled to the other side. Motherfuck ear. I shouted while I was fighting against the invisible force, at least trying. Bang. I rolled on the floor while pulling my trusty Mac-10 ready to fuck some aliens, magicians, mutants or whatever this crazy shit was. But I found myself in a luxurious living room inside an obnoxiously bright room. It took a while for my eye to get used to the light. I certainly didn't expect to find maids in here. I don't know what I was expecting, but certainly not maids. And would you look at that? The horned mutant that has been keeping me away from my bed. Along with an apparent Carol or here, could be a Skrull, shapeshifting mutant, magician, other alien I don't know about. He thinks that you are an imposter. Said the horned and mind reader, apparently, mutant. Whoosh, Carol lights up. Now I can be sure that she is no Skrull or shapeshifter, but could still be a magician or alien. He thinks that you might be a magician or alien. This mind-reading prattling bitch. How am I supposed to make him believe that I'm me? Said the apparent Carol. See why I didn't want to meet him. Said while deadpanning at apparent Carol. Fury, do you still have the communicator that I gave you? Maybe she is Carol. Yes. Can you use it now? Is this a trap to lure the real Carol here? He thinks we are trying to lure you into a trap. This bitch. Just use it. Worst case in the real Carol will come to save you. I pulled the communicator that is always on me, you never know, and this situation proves my point. Also, Aragorn, stop reading his mind. It is not nice. You tell that bitch. What will you give me in return? Their dynamic is strange. Fucker. What do you want? It's just not doing something, it shouldn't be so difficult. I can't really tell if they are allies or not. You have to stay in my house once a week. What? Is he courting her? Once a month. Sometimes I have to fight for more than a week. I'm done with this rom-com bullshit. I pressed a call and I heard a notification sound coming from Carol. I'm 89% sure that this is Carol now. Ring ring. I will accept the deal. Also, he is 89% sure that you are Carol now. Dash dot. Bitch. Sigh Fury, can we get this show on the road? It's me, Carol Danvers. I will choose to believe that. For now. So why was I kidnapped? And why are you with a known terrorist? Carol looked back at Aragorn with surprise, but said nothing and just waited for an answer. Some scum that were involved in the rape of some of my maids before I hired them. Now they are no more, you are welcome. I knew some were better dead than alive, but all of them. Even Russia's prime minister. He knew, he died, everyone that knew and did nothing or had anything to do with it is no more, 1783 of them. He said while smiling and his weird space eyes shifted to red nebulas. I guess technically you are the owner of Earth. Your own judge, jury and executioner. And since they were trash, it's no skin of my back. I would even help you next time. Excuse me. My belligerent friend, you said he is the what? Of Earth. Excuse me. He is the what now? Carol faced me back and said. That's why I had Aragorn bring you here. He was acknowledged as the owner of this sector of the galaxy plus a planet that works as his embassy in the Nova Empire territory. An announcement was made last week to the other galactic empires about the new friendly terms between Aragorn the Shine Dragon, Jean Grey the Avatar of the Phoenix Force and the Nova Empire. I wanted at least for you to know from the people down there on Earth. Under whose authority? Who is Jean Grey? What's the Phoenix Force? Motherfucker. I didn't even know that there was an ownership to the planet in question. Well, Aragorn here is what it's known as a cosmic entity. If a cosmic entity or similar takes residence anywhere in the universe, it's the common galactic law, followed by any empire, to recognize any surrounding territories as theirs. Some time ago the Phoenix Force burned down an empire because they thought different. The Phoenix Force is another cosmic entity and Jean Grey is the girl that represents its authority in the universe. She is also temporarily under the care of Aragorn for how long, Aragorn? Some space bullshit this is. It depends on senior sister, Phoenix for you, but I will be her representative for about 7 years at least or more, due to her training. There you have it, Fury. Nobody in authority from Earth knows, so I thought that you should know. And do what? Go Star Wars on his cosmic ass. That's not true. Yao the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth knows. A magician. I've met some but I haven't heard of this one. There's magic on Earth. Even I knew that Carol. Yes, she is in charge of protecting the dimensional barrier from demonic incursions and dimensional lords. But given my presence here, she should be getting less work on her plate in the future. Really? What the hell is Carol expecting me to do if this dragon can make demons shake in their demonic pants with just his existence? And demons? Should I create a department for demon slaying? That's news for me. Can I become a magician too? I won't berate you, my friend, because now I'm wondering the same. Technically your powers come from the light dimension. After the accident with the Tesseract and the Kree tech on board the plane, you were forcefully linked to that dimension. Sorcerers pull energy from dimensions, so you could consider yourself as a specialized sorcerer whose focus is the light dimension. But to answer your question, yes, you could become a sorcerer. Anyone can, but you need some teachings and training. If you want to be one, you should come more often and get some lessons from Yao when she is teaching us. Possibly once a week. That smile at the end has all of your expectations written on it. And I should definitely become a magician. I got a shot and I will take it. New asterisk. Fine. You win, you bastard. I will come more often for some magic lessons. She said while gnashing her teeth. I'm in too. Both turned to look at me expressionless. What? Why wouldn't I be more badass with some magic? I see no problem with that. But you won't tell anyone about me or mine. Not your fellow agents. Not your friends if you have any. Not your family. Certainly not the World Security Council. Earth doesn't need to know of my existence yet, so we will keep it that way. You will be given a link for warping an AI assistance that you can only use in the privacy of your home or your office after my AI had it debugged. Honestly, this a better deal than I could hope for. I get to be a spy magician, an AI helping me, and best of all, I don't have to spy on the seemingly overpowered dragon. Given that Carol is not fretting about him and introduced us, I can at least tell that he is sort of approved by her. I can work with that better than with a psycho-cosmic god. We have a deal. By the way, where are we? Carol implied that we were above Earth, but above where? This place is the halo, we are between the moon and Earth. You can take a look on the balcony, come with me. I followed Carol since being between Earth and the moon doesn't narrow it by a lot. But motherfucker has his own ring world. There must be some space magic bullshittery involved in keeping this place hidden. And what the heck is that? Carol. Are those little girls dressed like maids while riding a T-Rex? This place is wrong. Ha 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 ha. I had the same reaction. Aragorn said that there's a place on Earth where you can find dinosaurs, so he went there to snatch some for the little girls. You don't have to worry though, all maids here are dressed in vibranium weave, and Aragorn made some telepathic and biokinetics changes for the dinosaurs to imprint on the little girls. Yesterday they even did a relay race around the lake down there. I won one of their lightsabers from the bets. There's so many questionable things on that statement. I don't even know where to start. Somehow the fact that he uses telepathy for this is the most conceivable part of that statement. Dinoland, vibranium clothes, 4 years old dino-tamers, lightsabers, little girls doing relay races, and this crazy bunch betting on them. Well, I kind of got caught in the energy of this place. Hey. Really? That's your excuse? Sigh, just tell me this, Carol, is His Draconic Majesty the Cosmic God King okay? Should I start creating a space ark to escape Earth and call myself Black Noah? Well, he is not okay if we are speaking in mortal terms, you know he is a little crazy. But he is probably the friendliest and most civilized cosmic entity that we've been able to find records of so far. The second place goes for the phoenix that burned an entire empire that crossed its button line. Aragorn engages in commercial trade, has an AI representative, is training an avatar, has a team of servants, has a queen rule his territory, and does politics with other powers. Something that no one even remotely close to his level of power does. Hence he is recognized as the most cultured cosmic entity in record. Then the panorama is not as bad as I imagined. Politics I can do. It's actually better fury. Now you won't have to worry about invasions through space. Through space. It's not supposed to be normal, but you can be invaded through warping. You still need a daredevil to try to warp in the territory of a cosmic being, but if the price is the Tesseract, some may think that it's worth a try. It's always a problem with that cube. Why is he not interested in it? I asked him the same, but he said that he can do whatever the cube can do with his own might and that he is using it as bait for someone out there that wants it. That's both good and bad. We will have enough time to play with it, but apparently someone is aware of its location but hasn't been able to snatch it or isn't able at the moment. You worry too much, Fury. Let's enjoy the place for the night. I will be leaving tomorrow, and even though we will probably meet during the magic classes, we haven't seen each other in a while. Easy for you to say, you haven't just found out that your planet has a new overlord. Kitty 16yo. Aragorn, that genius shiny dragon did it. He got us a magic tutor. Our plan for the magical beast girls is advancing at breakneck speed. According to our data, we should be able to finish the DNA decoding of the cats, foxes and rabbits by next week. The X gene decoding will take one more week after that, but once we get that done, Aragorn is confident in turning me into a real-life catgirl. Hey. Soon I will be Kitty, a real kitty. Lots of things have changed since our first meeting. According to Sensei Bucky and Master Natalia, I should be a full-fledged sword expert in about 3 years, but Aragorn said if I get my cat powers I should be capable of at least having the time. I've been spending more time training my lightsaber skills and studying the mystic arts than playing in the gaming room recently, So I believe that I will become the first Sith magical catgirl of the world, but I can't get ahead of myself. Some of the maids have more training hours than me. But that's not my fault. I have to spend a considerable amount of my day on my classes on World with the X-Men. Though, I can say that my training in the Halo has positively affected my fighting skills, but the problem is that now I'm stronger than my teammates, so I create an unbalance according to Logan. Is not that I'm stronger per se, is just that I normally train with the maids and those girls are trained by two experts, along simulations, under different climates on Halo, for every different situation that Aragorn, Bucky and Natalia can think of, under the different martial arts that Aragorn stole from another universe. What I'm trying to say is that Aragorn is creating apex individuals, not maids, and that I'm being overtrained, so I'm ahead of my friends. Today the professor called me to his office along with Jean. I met Jean on the way and we were talking about why we would be called together. Most likely it has something to do with Aragorn. We knocked and the professor told us to enter. In the office we could find Aurora and Logan along the professor. Hi professor. How can we help you? I said first. Jean lately doesn't talk too much with the professor, so I prefer to keep things civil. Hello young ladies. I hope that you've been having a good day. We called you here today because I received some information about a possible new mutant, but the description of the mutant partially matches Aragorn. So we wanted to know if you knew about any activities concerning Aragorn about 2 weeks ago in Russia. Said the professor. I could also feel some sort of tension in the air. Could this be about the maids? Is this about the murders or acts of terrorism, depending on who you ask? Said Jean with indifference. Murders. Terrorism. I knew the girls were rescued from somewhere, but I didn't know it was this far-reaching. Yes, more than 1,000 people were last seen before a warping mutant showed up. Said Aurora. We are probably talking about the same incident. Said Jean without giving it much mind. Is this about the girls' rescue, Jean? I asked her so that I could get on the same page. Yes Kitty, some people did some things to the girls that Aragorn and Emma didn't like, so after saving the girls Aragorn went back to capture these people, later they were executed. I know Jean is normally not this indifferent to death, so either her inner fire bird is affecting her or these people did something awful. Jean, you must know that if these people did something unforgivable they must be brought to justice. If everybody who thinks that they are following a righteous endeavor takes justice in their hands, without going through the proper channels, we will end up with the death of innocent casualties caught in the way or in circumstantial misunderstandings. We would have anarchy and chaos. Xavier. A sound argument if you ask me, but isn't Aragorn technically the highest authority here? Professor Yu, Aragorn, Emma and I are telepaths, you know we can tell when someone is guilty or not, so there are no misunderstandings. To make matters more binding, Spark is capable of unearthing any evidence needed as long as it's connected to the web. Aragorn can warp so there are no innocent casualties caught in the way. Lastly, Aragorn belongs under no government, since he is technically not a citizen, non-native, non-resident or under any lawfully recognized state of existence. He has no possibility of bringing anyone to the law, aliens have no legal rights, duties or liberties, they are simply not covered under any stipulation. So the best option was to take justice in his hands. I'm guessing she is taking some of the law and order for Earthlings courses from the learning room. I've been focusing on the cosmic knowledge for beginners. Maybe I should take a few courses regarding my planet to balance things out. But Jean, everyone has a right to live, we should not follow a path of retribution. That's a sure way to create a cycle of hate. Aurora. Teacher Aurora has always been a softie, but even I can tell that at some point in the future I will have to take some matters in my hands. After all, the possibility of Earth getting invaded is about 97.8546% according to Spark, and when that happens I believe that Aragorn is planning on sending the maids to take care of it as a matter of training. Even rapists, pedophiles and child abusers. Jean. Much to Teacher Aurora's surprise. Jean. Is that what happened to the girls? I'm scared of the answer. Yes Kitty, to the vast majority of them. Only the baby girls and a few of the little girls were spared. I think that I can see why Aragorn killed them. I feel so sad for the maids. I can't imagine what they must have felt. Aragorn and Emma had to do some telepathic mental therapy with the girls, and that's why you can see them better now than the first days. But when they went through their memories after the girls were rescued, Aragorn and Spark located everyone who played a role in it, kidnapped them and killed them later the same day. Sigh, I'm just glad that the girls are better now. After this there was a moment of silence where you could see the conflicting opinions clash in the teacher's eyes. Sigh, I guess I can see why he did it. I'm lacking most of my memories, so it's hard for me to know what type of man I used to be, but I can feel a part of me agree with his actions and think that I would have done the same. It's what Logan said. That was all, young ladies. Thank you for the trust in giving us this information. Thanked us the professor. You're welcome, professor. By the way, teacher Aurora. Aragorn wanted to talk to you this afternoon. He said that he was going to visit Jean. I wonder if this is about Project Paradise. We need the blessing of Gaia on the halo to be able to rise magical creatures. Aragorn said that we should be able to have our own ring-shaped Avalon, but instead of being located in a pocket dimension next to Earth, it will be just the ring itself. I didn't understand much, but basically we will get an environment where we can have the birth of our own magical creatures. If there's no blessing, we will get no birth of new magical creatures, so that's why he said that he was going to talk to teacher Aurora, who is somehow related to Gaia. A.N. Hi. Thank you for waiting for the chapter. I added a bunch of different POVs for you. I hope this short time skip will help us move further. I ended adding Carol Danvers as a recurrent character to the mix because I imagined that if I was Aragorn I would like to have a friendship with the shiny hero. I also incorporated some concepts for the origin of her powers from the MCU and Earth-616. Next chapter is about Gaia and possibly Otherworld. Since this was not on the MCU, I will leave some links below in case that you wonder about where I get some concepts. Just to be clear, this is a fanfiction, so it won't be the same as in the comics. Gaia. Otherworld. Avalon. Thank you for your support. Please continue to enjoy my work. ExistentialVoid creators' thoughts. 26 comments, 0 vote. Gaia, Death and Blessings. Part 1. Time moves fast when you're busy. Or having fun. I have grown fond of the baby maids, though even if I call them maids, that's just how they dress. I didn't want them to feel left out from her other sisters, so I gave them the same uniform. They are too small to do anything other than play around and use the learning room. I wanted to make them into super geniuses with the help of the learning room, but Emma said that I would take away their innocence if I filled their minds with unfiltered knowledge, and she does have a point, so Spark and Emma created some kid versions of the learning courses. They will still be geniuses, just not corrupted by the filth in the world. I think that the reason I like the baby maids so much is because of their eyes. All that crap about the eyes being the windows of the soul is sort of true. I can see their soul regardless of their eyes, but the eyes carry a certain representativity of the soul. So babies have shiny eyes. It might also be the fact that I spent most of my time playing with the babies. On my previous universe I never had the chance to interact with babies, so I never knew if I liked kids or not, but I can certainly say that I like these kids, that's baby and kid maids included. The teenage maids are colluding with Natalia and Jean in their plans for revenge. Apparently some of them are still vindictive about the incident with the cutlery on their first day here. Or because of the reincarnation prank. You can also find some that are in it because the sistermans. I can understand the last one, but if about the first reason, aren't they too petty? I was even going to grant some of their wishes, if it were not for the fact that their wishes were weird. Natalia wanted to be an overpowered dragoness that did nothing except play all day. Was that a personal jab at me? Irina wanted to be the imperatrix of a universe. Really? Just imagine the universal amount of responsibilities, no pun intended. Kitty wanted her life back. I can tell, she is living her best life. Jean was okay with a family that loved her but wanted to go back for a sec, to kill Xavier. The first part of her wish I can understand, but wasting one wish in that pathetic fuck. He doesn't deserve it. Bucky had a normal wish that I can grant later. It was reuniting with Steve one last time. Emma asked for the Rob supervisor and said that her soul belonged to me, and to send her back to her kingdom before an idiot dragon comes for the Rob's ass. I don't know if I should feel happy that she has me in such high regard or preoccupied that she would throw a Rob at me. On the past weeks I've come closer to the girls in general, but I'm closer to the baby maids and the two older girls, Yelena and Irina. These two are what could be considered as my personal maids. Apparently they saw too much shit and decided that instead of focusing on a career and later be free, it's better to be under the umbrella of an overpowered existence. They said that the fact that I have no apparent responsibilities played a part in their decision. I guess if I was powerless, not that they are, and had the chance, I would have probably taken the same decision. A butler of Nuna doesn't sound so bad. Irina is a ravenette, light blue eyes bordering gray. Like all super soldiers, she is tall compared to the average woman. perfect curves, not that I would do anything with them, and she had this bespectacled vibe to her. Sadly, she had a peak human eyesight, so she had no reason for glasses, but when has reason stopped me? Spark and I created these totally overpowered glasses that could put Superman's sight to shame and told her that as the young master I had to present a gift to my personal maid. Hey. Now I have a bespectacled beauty as my maid. Sadly, my move backfired. My other personal maid strongly requested for her gift. So for Yelena, I made a pair of earrings that linked with 3 City Buster drones. The earrings connect to her mind with the same tech that you use in the learning room. Honestly, one drone is enough to take down a Hulk MCU version. The drones are spherical, about the size of a human, made of vibranium of course, and can shift into any weapon from our database for which there's enough mass available. Basically, she can use any of the weaponry designs on Halo and any of the transports for which each ball has enough mass for use. I made the drones with our own patented warping tech so she can summon those monsters whenever she wants. Today I came to the X mansion. X school. To talk with Aurora. Hopefully she can get me in contact with Gia to request a blessing. When I met Aurora, I felt the presence of another on her, so I'm pretty sure that she is connected to Gia. The problem is that I don't know if she is her priestess, champion, avatar, or just a really faithful follower. But I'm sure I could get to Gia through her. Hopefully the price for the blessing is not so high. Some of the divine can be annoying to deal with. I arrived with Yelena and Irina, both wearing their maid outfit. Initially I wanted the mini-skirt version of course, but I lost that battle before it even started. But I like this version, it's a long-skirted combination of the classical type and sci-fi. After waiting for a minute, Aurora opened the door and at first was surprised but then looked at me with scorn. You know. I could take a peek at what's going on through her head to understand where this scorn is coming from, but I will just own it, I'm not doing anything wrong. Yes, I'm not. If I were, Natalia or Jean would have fought me for it, but they had no qualms about my maids. Like the wise blonde said. Haters gonna hate. Hello, Aurora. These are Yelena and Irina, they are my personal maids. Did Jean mention that I wanted to talk with you? I will keep being the gentlemanly dragon that I am. I will shake it off. Hello. Nice to meet you girls. If you need anything, just let me know. She looked at my maids as if waiting for a SOS signal from them. But joke's on you. Irina is my super serious no bullshit maid and Yelena is my let the world burn while eating popcorn maid. Hello Ms. Munro, it's a pleasure. Of course my personal maids are already on the advanced courses of housekeeping and attending your young master. By the way, Aurora, is Logan around? I will just pay no mind to you ignoring me. Yes, he is. Is he also needed for what you wanted to ask me? No, it's for a separate manner. One I believe he might be interested in. Bucky recognized him from the file I have on Logan and wanted to get in contact with him. I'll ask the professor to call him. Let's go to my office to discuss whatever business you have with me. This lady should stop judging me. Wasn't she a child pickpocket? Maids are not illegal. She guided us to an office very similar to Xavier's but smaller and with her own touch. Shortly after, Logan entered the office and said, Hello Aragorn. The professor said you called. Yes, recently in one of my operations I came across one of your old friends. He is working for me and wanted to get in contact with you. So do you want to visit the Halo or do you prefer for him to come down here? I feel overqualified for a messenger but Bucky is a friend so it's okay. Someone that knows me. We haven't even been able to find any records of my existence. I could see both hope and anger in his eyes. That's because you're Canadian, born in 1832 and this government erased the pitiful amount of records they had of you after they fused adamantium in your bones. The experiment went wrong and they lost control of their weapon. You. So there's not many individuals that know you left alive. Even Spark had a hard time finding anything on him. Logan initially looked completely flabbergasted but then he looked in pain. Having your mind try to heal whenever something of the past comes up must have pain, especially with 3 bullets lodged on your cranium. Arg. You know who I am? He asked while in pain. Or anger, I feel both coming from him. Yes. I have a file on your life. Not all of it but more like a map of it. You could probably get more from the sicko that experimented on you. A man like Stryker wouldn't throw all his precious research away, even if the experiment failed. Give me the file. He demanded. Well, he does have a history of a berserker but that's not a way to ask for something. It appears that manners are not part of his accessible memories. Aragorn may be an idiot but he is our idiot, no one disrespects him but us. Yelena and Irina looked coldly at him and started to measure him, looking for vulnerabilities, restudying in their minds his profile. Aurora, who had the presence of mind to notice this change, hurriedly intervened. Logan. Calm down. She said while looking at Logan intently. She did notice the change in my maids. My maids have enough tech on them to battle Jean for an hour or so. Jean is used to fight me, so I'm sure that these two have enough tech to take all the X-Men currently present in the mansion. Even though my maids often plot my demise with Jean or Natalia, I know that we have built enough familial affection to not allow anyone to talk bullshit about us. Logan came back to himself and saw the cold look on my maids and the indifferent look on me. I apologize about that. Me, Chuck and Hank have been looking for answers for so long that I had almost lost my faith. It has been one fruitless endeavor after the other. If I go to visit this friend of mine, up there in your place, could I get access to the file you have on me? He definitely is a different person when he is calm. Yes. That's no problem, he made the same request. Do you want to go now or wait for us? Depending on Gia, we might go up soon enough. I will wait for you to finish your business. I will let Chuck know about it. He walked out of the office, allowing me to make my request to Aurora. All right. Aurora, I wanted to contact you to ask you for a favor. Do you have any relation to Gia, the elder goddess? She tilted her head in confusion. I don't think so. I do worship ExistentialVoid, which is the name of the goddess we all worshipped on our village. ExistentialVoid is one of Gaia's names. But are you sure you only worship her? Is it possible that she doesn't know of her connection with her? Yes, on the later years of my childhood I lived for a while with my mother's tribe. They taught me how to control my powers and about ExistentialVoid. I figured they would have told her about it or something. Can we visit them? I want to make a deal with Gia, but I need the help of someone related to her to find her location. It's easier than scanning Earth with my eyes. I bet she has a realm pocket dimension somewhere on Earth. She contemplated for a minute before saying, yes, we can visit them. Her countenance carried some longing. All right, let's wait for Logan and we'll be on our way. It's simpler to bring him with us. After Logan arrived, I portaled us to Uzuri, Kenya, where people welcomed Aurora with cheerfulness and elation. I can only assume that it was because of the outfit of my maids that they were looking at us distrustfully. It had nothing to do with my space eyes and horns. While Aurora was talking with the village elders, I took the opportunity to help myself to the knowledge of their language. After a brief introduction, they finally asked me about the reason for the visit. Needless to say that no one expected me to talk the local tongue. Our Lady has told us that you seek to talk with our goddess, said the elder and shamanic-looking lady. I assume that she has the position of the current spiritual leader. Yes, that's the case. I have a deal to propose. I felt her presence in your lady, but she is not aware about their connection. At this, Aurora was looking at me with interest. Our Lady was always someone with an adventurous soul. Since the moment we met her, we knew that a day would come when she would leave this place, so we never instructed her on her connection to our goddess. I think that back then, according to my not so reliable comic knowledge, she wanted to go back to T'Challa's arms, so it makes sense. That's okay. I don't need her to assume her position as a priestess, but her connection to your goddess is stronger than anyone here. Do you have an item or place of importance where you can feel a stronger presence of your goddess? Could be an altar, or if it's an item, it will possibly be some sort of inheritance passed down from priestess to priestess. Some comics it's an altar or a special place, but on some others is a gem or precious item. Luckily, the priestess understood my query. She made a nod with her head to one of the younger girls on the village, and minutes later she came back carrying the biggest ass ruby I've seen. It was the size of an eyeball and I could feel the divinity coming from it. I've just realized that Gia might be some batshit crazy goddess because that's a drop of her blood. Does she not know how many crazy fuckers would raid this place just for some of the divinity oozing out from it? Damn. That's your goddess blood. That would definitely work. The girl carrying it stopped walking and looked down at the rock with a newfound fear. Her blood? Asked the priestess. Yes, her blood. Never let any outsiders see that. That's worth more than a few countries for the people that know of its value. The names of some dark sorcerers and vampires out there come to my mind. After my declaration, everyone present started gushing out wariness while measuring us. Don't be stupids, my blood is worth like 1,000,000 of those. I don't need it, and no one here except you and Aurora have any use for it. My blood is not technically blood but more like drops of reality infused with the essence of soul, so yeah, that drop of Gia might be just water in my eyes. It looks like these guys are not suspicious of us anymore, but now they think that I'm an arrogant fool that thinks of himself as higher than a god. Whatever. I don't have time to show them the real shine, I still have a deal to make with a goddess. So can you lend that to Aurora? They agreed since their trust and affection to Aurora is borderline faith. I wouldn't be surprised if she suddenly starts developing a divinity core, or some cultivator shit like that. What am I supposed to do with it? Asked the ignorant mutant priestess. Her palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. I bet if you were part of the mundane and someone gave you a drop of divine blood you would have vomit on your sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. I should stop thinking about the classics from my parents' time. Aurora, just hold it and close your eyes while thinking about communicating with your goddess. You should lay down since you'll probably fall unconscious when she pulls you in. I will follow her consciousness to Gaia's place with my eyes and then I will just invite myself in with a portal. Aurora was brought to one of their beds, where she laid down and followed my instructions. In less than a sec I saw her consciousness fly towards a pocket dimension. I followed her with my eyes but I let them have a talk before warping there. I bet Gia has a lot to say to her unfilial daughter. Aurora Pav. Aragorn mentioned something about my connection with a goddess and I just played along. Given his track record when it comes to connections with beings of power, aka Jean, it made little sense for him to lie. But I certainly didn't expect for him to be right. Well, I certainly didn't want him to be right. The reason for that is coincidentally Jean herself. After Aragorn removed the seals that the professor placed on her, she changed. I don't know if it's related to the memories that the professor sealed or if it's because of the connection with the Phoenix. Initially, like Scott and the professor mentioned, we suspected that it was Aragorn influencing her, but I dismissed that theory when Kitty kept being Kitty despite spending more time with him than Jean. Jean and Kitty did confirm that Jean spends most of her interactions fighting with him. But Kitty and him get along like old-time friends, but Kitty hasn't changed. But I've never felt any aversion from my goddess, and when I saw the ruby, or blood drop, I felt a sense of familiarity with it. I followed Aragorn's advice and closed my eyes before I started thinking about my goddess, and then it felt like I was falling through the canopy of a really dense jungle. I felt the foliage softening my fall, until I found myself in a lush savanna, full with life. I could see the dichotomy of lifeforms all inhabiting one place. You could find predators and prey living in harmony. And before I could study more of this place, I felt a voice filled with motherly love and concern. Do you like it, my daughter? I looked to my right where I found a woman with physical traits like mine, blue eyes, white hair and chocolate skin, with a body that represented the word mother quite strikingly. She also had a presence that hugged my body with care. Daughter. I asked her with curiosity and some healthy fear. She is a goddess in all of her right. Yes. I am no longer as well known as I was before. But I raised humanity and I keep protecting you and taking care of you even after all the MELENIA. All of you are my children, but you are specially so. I guided the mutation on your powers to encompass one of my domains, weather, also known as at Mokines IS, and I gave you a speck of my essence. She said while getting closer to me and embracing me in a hug at the end of her message. I should feel some level of caution towards her, but I felt as if rejecting her hug would have been a sacrilege. You brought to my domain a rather distinguished individual. When she made reference to Aragorn, I felt her uneasy and wary of him. I don't understand, is he a danger or bad? We don't trust him, but so far he has delivered as promised. I can say with full certainty that Jean is the strongest mutant that I know and that she no longer has problems with her telepathy. Danger is a very broad term. You are a danger to my other children because of your powers, same as some of my other, mutated, children. But you are not likely to represent that danger. He is the most dangerous existence in range of my senses. Bad and good are terms that are usually not applied to beings of our level. We follow the law of strength. The strongest is the righteous. Is he stronger than you? I didn't want to ask that question. We have known that Aragorn was stronger than us, the X-Men, but we have never known how much more. Ha 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 ha, yes, my daughter. He is not even within my bracket of power. He is what gods call cosmics. He is a very peculiar one. He is like a cosmic that it's holding back just enough to avoid fully moving into said level. But he doesn't have any ill intentions so far. He is coming. Not long after a portal different to the ones he normally employs opened in front of us. Hello there, Gia. I can come back later if you want more time with Aurora. He said after noticing how Gia was warmly embracing me. I couldn't help but blush a little, but I still don't feel like leaving my goddess arms. No, it's not needed, dragon. I'm just happy to have one of my children visiting me. What can this humble goddess do for you today, dragon? She said with a small smile on her face. Oh, that's okay. Aurora didn't know how to come here, but she should be able to visit you from now on. Regarding my business, I wanted to trade with you for a blessing on Halo, my home. I wanted to raise some magical creatures, but I needed the blessing of a mother goddess to enable the birth of new creatures. You're the closest one. I just don't know what you might be interested in trading for it. He said the last part with less conviction. Why not raise one of your women into a mother goddess? He can do that. Their souls are not ready for divinity. Also, they are not my women. More like little sisters or adopted daughters. When he mentioned the girls, I could literally see the affection on his eyes, at least that's what I assume pink galaxies imply. Now I feel bad about what I thought of him before when I saw his maids. Isn't souls something within your domain? Kind of, but if I start to meddle with souls, I'll eventually increase my power and gain an aspect. I am not ready to become an aspect, besides I made a deal with the one above all where I'm required to keep this level of strength for the moment. I could possibly gain an aspect just fine, but it will complicate my work. I could feel my goddess tremble a little when he mentioned that name. Are you here under his orders? No. This universe was assigned as my home. It made sense, since if I was assigned a dimension of my own, I would get stronger and break through my current level. Again, something that we don't want. I understand. For my blessing, I want two things. I want a place under your protection on Halo, and a piece of your soul, my goddess, were you a demon all this time. I don't mind about the first condition. I can give you some territory over there, and overall it'll be for my benefit. Your presence alone is that beneficial, but why would you want a piece of my soul? I have the same question. I can't say if it's because of my ignorance about godly affairs or because of my common sense, but a piece of one's soul doesn't sound like something you should waver with. The various seers that we've been able to consult with have all predicted the end of the universe. But a few weeks ago they all lost a considerable amount of the certainty on their vision. Nobody knew what it meant, but I can safely assume that it was born from your existence. Is that correct? The end of the universe. Like the apocalypse. Yes, that is the case. My soul tends to have that effect on time. I would like to be positive about this, but if there's anything that I have learned in my years is, not to put all my eggs in one basket, as my children say. So I want to use a piece of our souls to birth a strong child that could help our world. My goddess, what? Aragorn Pav. First of all, I would normally say, "Da fuck." But the more I think about this from another angle, the more I'm reminded of a problem that Spark and I have been mulling about. Because Nuna is death, she can't bear life, so we won't be able to procreate. I know that we are not even in a relationship yet, but I can't honestly see myself with any other. I live with mortals, but even if they were immortal, it would be difficult to have a relation as equals with someone that you can accidentally kill while in bed, and I might be lacking in some social tango, but I can at least tell that Nuna is interested. In retrospective, she basically designed my humanoid form. Spark and I have reached a conclusion a few times based on some of our comic knowledge. Since Nuna can't bear a child, we could use a goddess related to motherhood to bear it for us. Yes, the poor child will probably be confused about its three parents, but there are stranger families around. Best of all, this is a sort of proven method. Thor, he is the child of Gaia, Phoenix and Odin. Kind of. The problem is that I haven't been able to talk to Nuna yet, so I can't make the decision on my own. Shit. I can't let this opportunity go. After all, Gaia is the strongest mother goddess that I know of. Strong enough to bear my and Nuna's essence. Gaia, do you mind waiting here for me? There's someone I like, but she might be interested in the idea as well. Nuna for sure knows about the limitations of her status. Why would she? Yes, from a normal point of view, under normal circumstances, there's no way that a woman would be interested in her partner having a baby with another woman. But even if I behave like a human, I'm not. I'm way more practical. Or so I like to say. But Nuna is the farthest thing from a human. I bet she will appreciate the opportunity. She can't bear life, so if you can bear the baby's life for her, we could have a baby mixed with the essence of the three of us. She is stronger than me, so you'll be getting your op baby, and because of her job and type of existence, she can't be present here raising the baby, meaning to you will have some influence in the baby's upbringing. Under normal circumstances, cosmic abstracts can't be on one place without affecting it, so Nuna can't be physically present at all times without turning this place into a death realm. Me and future baby will visit her often, but that's it. Normal life can't grow in Nuna's realm. It sounds even better. I can wait. Yes, for you and us it's better. This is the equivalent of going out to buy some groceries and coming back with the deed for a new farm. I opened a portal to Nuna's palace and crossed over in a hurry. Now that I think about it. Am I not basically proposing to Nuna? Shit. Now I'm nervous and I feel like I'm rushing things here. But we won't have this opportunity again. Death Pav. I just felt someone invading my realm, but it turns out, it is my idiot dragon. I missed him and I've been working on the next steps to have him declare his eternal love for me. Yeah, he will declare his love, I can't have it be another way. But I must be patient, this is a work that will take time and some subtlety. I can't go to hard nor to soft. It's basically impossible to find someone in my level of strength that I could approve, not crazy or wholly uninterested. Besides, in our case there are not plenty of fish in the sea, and all the men in my level of existence are beings driven by their concepts, they basically become the concept they embody, no one has a personality. What I'm trying to say is that my idiot dragon is prime state material, I'm glad that only its abstracts and Phoenix know about him. Honestly, based on my calculations, my idiot should know by now that I'm interested in him. If he can't gather enough courage to ask me on a date, then even if my options are non-existent, I don't think I should settle for him. But he is perfect, so please don't be an idiot, Aragorn, or you will soon have your first cosmic battle against me. When I think of him, I can't help but let some of my ugly feelings out, but who can blame me? I basically sculpted him to be mine, to be my version of perfect, and he was already lovely before. I just needed to give him some pushes in the right direction. So how can let him go and have another enjoy my dragon? But I must remain calm and collected. I keep repeating on my mind that I don't need to worry too much, after all those pink eyes of him are basically a guarantee. I also made sure that he would only think about me. I'm good. I'm golden. He is almost here and he looks to be in a rush, maybe he needs some help, and that's better for me since I will be able to further establish my image in him. Let's see what he wants and then later I could drop some clues about the perfect date that I have in mind. Or wedding. Sigh, patience. It won't be long before he begs for my hand in marriage. Bang. He opened the door. As soon as his eyes laid upon my own, they switched to pink stars. He. Yes, he is my dragon. Love me. Nuna. Let's have a baby. I. What about the date, wedding? His eyes keep switching between golden and pink nebulas. Honestly. Fuck it. I don't know how or why, but we are having a baby. Okay. Aragorn, let's have a baby. This is not the subtlety that I was planning for, but why would I look a gift horse in the mouth? Aragorn came closer to me and he reached down to my waist with his hands before raising me up from my seat. He hugged my waist and I reached for his neck with my arms. I looked up to his face, into my beautiful pink eyes and said, I'm all for jumping over the appropriate steps set by mortals, but can you explain yourself please, Aragorn? I didn't let go of him and he embraced me further, like trying to weld our bodies forever. Yes please my dragon, I don't mind at all, squish me. Right. Nuna. I wanted a blessing from Gia for my halo, I wanted to raise some magical beasts, and Gia wants a strong overpowered baby so that she could secure the continuance of the universe. She suggested having a piece of me so she could impregnate herself. Of course I thought it was not possible given that she is not you, my Nuna, but then I remembered that if we ever want to have kids it won't be possible with just the two of us. We need a mother goddess strong enough to resist your essence without accidentally granting the baby death. But I couldn't take the decision on my own, so I came to you. Hey. Aragorn was thinking about this while I was thinking about how to conquer him. Now I feel like the idiot. I should have claimed him sooner. Let's go then. But kiss me first. We were already rubbing noses together while I was enjoying the pink and golden celestial show in his eyes. He brought his lips against my own and we had our very own first kiss. It was a chaste kiss at the start. I could feel his breathing syncing with mine as our rhythms became one. Our kiss began to heat up and I could now enjoy how his forked tongue pushed against mine. I could feel him playing with my own and I was playing with his, but we had a baby to create so I had to stop for now. But it won't be long before I could use those horns as handles. Stop, Aragorn. For now. We have a baby to make. I could not stop myself from picturing a baby of my dragon and me. Of course there's Gia, but if she helps where I can't, then I can only be grateful to her. Yes, Nuna, we will continue later. I will start visiting you every week from now on. I looked into those mesmerizing pink eyes and gave him a kiss on the chin. I'd like that. Yes, Aragorn, you should sleep here once a week. Aragorn's smile grew brighter before giving me another chaste kiss on my lips. I like him this assertive and goofy. After exiting from the portal while holding hands, we came out to a pocket realm filled with life. I could even feel my sister's authority in here. Gia will definitely be able to house our baby. I immediately located the goddess in question along with a trembling mess of a mortal. I had to pull back my authority if I didn't want her dying. I can't harm my darling's friends, or the future mother of my baby for that matter. I'm back, Gia. This is Nuna Death, or as most of you know her, Lady Death. We agreed to your offer of housing our baby. Based on the amount of trembling on the goddess, I can infer that my idiot didn't explain who I was beforehand. Thank you for restraining your presence, my lady. I didn't know that I was being granted the honor of having the child of one of the abstracts. I'm greatly honored, my lady. Don't worry, Gia, I didn't know that I was having a baby until Aragorn jumped 11,000 steps forward into childbearing. He. Not that I'm complaining. Ha ha hey. Laughed Darling. How long will the gestation take, Gia? Given the peculiarity of the baby, I would assume that it will take long compared to mortal gestation. I can't tell for sure. Under normal circumstances, I could say between 70 to 110 years. Is it because you lack energy or divinity? I asked her as confirmation. That is the case, my lady. Forgive me, she said while lowering her head. But that's an amazing time frame considering it is our baby. The baby of an abstract and a monster born from the void. If it's because of a lack of energy, can't you just use me instead? Oh. My not so idiot dragon. That's a genius idea. Yes. We could do that instead. I exclaimed while connecting the dots. I must apologize, but I don't follow. I don't blame you, only Aragorn fits the criteria for this idea. Aragorn and dimensions are, and realms. It's like how Odin pulls energy from Asgard and then converts it into the Odin force. I will be your Asgard and you will convert it into the baby force. We just need to link our souls and done. Except if Asgard was the size of an universe. That's possible indeed. Your soul produces more energy than it can use. Yes, Aragorn usually just recycles the surplus or feeds it to creation. How long do you think it will take if we do it like that? I asked, fully on board. About 10 years maximum, yay. I get a baby in a decade. This will be enough time to get closer. Yes. I'm happy to see that I'm not the only one excited. First, Aragorn linked his soul to Gaia's. It was funny seeing how she found horror and respect after she saw his soul through the link. Then Aragorn broke a piece of his soul away. This small piece will work as the spark for our baby's soul. No normal soul could afford to mix with the essence of an abstract, so the only reason that I could dream of the idea of motherhood is because of the existence of my miraculous dragon. Aragorn held the spark of soul in his hand with care and love while I and Gia pour our essence into it. After a few minutes the spark was full and it took the resemblance of a golden, black and green star. Gia then carefully brought it to her lower belly and it merged into her womb. Are you alright only pulling this much energy, Gia? Asked Aragorn with concern. Yes. Aragorn. Life takes time to develop. Even with a basically infinite amount of energy, some things need to follow their path. I trust you, Gia. You are the only one of us that has the attribute of life and the experience. Do you want to move to the halo now? I rather have you close to me from now on. Yes, darling, you have to protect our baby. Yes. I feel like I'm carrying the most precious thing in the multiverse. I prefer to be close to you too. I don't want to risk one of my idiot brothers getting ideas or one of the other cosmics. You are not wrong there, that baby will be the most coveted existence in the multiverse once it's born. After all, it's the baby of a being that can jump over some of the intrinsic rules of existence, an aspect me of it and a goddess representing the opposing concept, life. Hey. They would become part of the inexistence before that. Grr, I love those red eyes. But don't worry, darling, I would claim them before they even get close to this universe. Nuna, do you want to meet my maids and butler? I know you can't be here for long, but a little while should be fine, right? How can't I say no to those pleading eyes? Yes. Let's go. I want to meet these girls. From time to time I've been Observing, darling, so I know about the girls that take care of him. I bet I will be able get them to help me monitor him. Aragorn opened a portal for me and Gia before going through another to pick up some of his friends. Aragorn Pav. After sending Nuna and Gia ahead of us, I went back to pick up Logan and Aurora. Gasp was the first thing that Aurora did once she woke up. Then she started to shiver and she cried a little. Storm. What's going on? Are you okay? Asked Logan while preoccupied. Hic asterisk. Sniff asterisk. Sorry Logan is just. She was scary. I thought I was dying. Aw shit. She must have been hit by Nuna's concept or authority as she calls it. Who? The goddess. Well, this is awkward. No. My goddess Gia felt like a mother to me. But Aragorn brought his wife. And she. I had just felt like I was dying. You just earned yourself a favor by calling Nuna my wife. But you also just dumped the fault on me and now Logan looks like I just kicked his cub. I'm sorry Aurora. She didn't know that you were going to be there. She reined her presence when she saw you. I don't feel her presence and I'm used to living among humans, so I thought that higher beings didn't emit a presence. I should have told her beforehand, it was an honest mistake. Logan is giving me a weird look now, a mix of anger and, are you serious dude? It was a honest mistake. Sigh, it's fine Aragorn. Let's just go and stop making them wait. I would prefer not to piss your lady. I already had Spark call the girls to the living room and luckily Jean and Kitty are around. I portaled to the place where I left Nuna and Gia and took us to the house. Logan, this is Gia and this is my Nuna, Lady Death. Of course Logan's instincts felt in sync with Gia given that she is nature, but he almost died on reflex when he saw Nuna. Hello child. Gia. Interesting. Her voice is projected differently outside of her realm. Hello ma'am, my lady, nice to meet you. I think his instincts pulled out his manners out of his bullet-ridden mind for the sake of preservation. Is he a friend of yours darling? Asked my sweet Nuna. He is a friend of my butler and Phoenix's avatar. Yes, my friends are the girls, Bucky and Spark. Hello Master Chief. Madam Death, Goddess Gia, it's a pleasure. My name is Spark, if you need anything just let me know. Spark said after he led us in and guided us to the living room. He is alive but it's not organic. Did you make him? Gia. Yes. I combined a universe worth of knowledge on artificial intelligence and created Spark. His soul is growing but I'm sure that it will become able of housing divinity in the future. Not that I know if Spark will choose that path or not. Maybe once he is developed enough he will ascend to God of machines, or technology, but that's far away for now, he is technically just a child soul. While we were walking to the living room, Gia was intrigued by Spark's existence while Nuna was curiously looking around. When we got to the living room I could see my 49 girls, Emma, Natalia and Bucky waiting for us there. We also got lucky because Jean and Kitty were here already. Hello everybody. I asked Spark to call you here to introduce you to Gia, who will be living with us, and Nuna. Some of you might know of them already from the courses on the Leaning Room. Gia is the mother goddess of a few pantheons and she is also known as Mother Earth. Nuna is the cosmic aspect of death, my direct superior and since recently my. Are we married? Dating? I think we forgot to label us. You idiot dragon. Sigh, yes, you can call me your wife now. Hee Nuna, you are smiling like me. Yes. You heard her. My wife since recently. Nuna can't stay here for long so I wanted to introduce you guys before she left, just in case that you find her around here at some point. You can go back to your business but Jean, Emma, Natalia, James, Irina and Yelena please stay. My girls are highly adaptable and used to my business, so they just gave a nod of agreement with some respectful smiles, before going back to their business. Apparently some of them are developing some new games for the gaming company that I have yet to create on World. Hi girls. And James. I wanted to introduce you to these two because Gia will be staying with us at least for the next 10 years and Nuna will probably visit from time to time. 20 comments 0 vote.